All right, y'all, we're back with Moments with Mama. The first question we got asked a lot was this one was from Miss Stasia. How were chores around the house and farm assigned?
Yes. Okay. Well, glad to have y'all back. Another question we get asked a lot is about the farm. I just wanted to say that for a minute. Now, Keith grew up farming watermelons. His dad was a big watermelon grower. So he grew up in farming. But then they kind of got out of it and got into the logging business full time. So it was about 12 or 15 years where there was no watermelon farming. And we just started our, maybe like when Grant was a little baby, we didn't have a tomato plant or anything. Keith was a little burnt out on farming, you know, so I would just go to the local stands and all and buy our produce and stuff. So I finally decided I was wanting my own homegrown stuff. So I started with 3 tomato plants. I put them on our back deck, and Keith, when he picked that tomato plant, that first tomato off, it was like fire.
Lit a fire.
It lit a fire in him, yes. And so just from those little 3 tomato plants, it started. Then the next year he wanted to plant some more. And then the next year he wanted to plant some more. So we never had a farm when the kids were little. But then we just started growing our own food. So as our kids got bigger, the garden got bigger, you know. So it wasn't until Jack was a baby, that was when he was a year old, we sold our first produce. Just because we had so many tomatoes, we started selling them. So mainly, we did chores around the house. You know, the kids were with me all the time, and Keith was logging all the time. So I had to keep them busy around the house. So I started, you know, making them do chores. And I don't know if y'all remember or not, but Blue's Clues, how you had to, he would draw the pictures. Well, my kind of rule was you were 3 years old when you started doing your own chores. So they couldn't read. So I would draw their chores out, what they were supposed to do. Like if it was a broom, I drew a broom. If they had to sweep, dishwasher, if they had to unload the dishwasher. And so such as that. So anyway, they got the same amount of chores however old they were. So if they were 3, they got 3 chores. If they were 4, they got 4 chores, 5 chores, you know. So, of course, like I said before about the laundry, I don't think Brad and Jack, I think they probably started with a chore list when they were 2 because they were so excited wanting their own chore list, you know. It was a big ordeal, you know. We all got a chore list every morning. And, of course, it shouldn't have taken them 10 minutes a chore, but they would fuss and fight, and it'd take them 3 hours.
All in between.
Yes, we'd have whippings and all that stuff. So it would take sometimes 3 hours for them to do their chore list, you know.
Or all day.
Or all day long, yes, because it stopped when they were 10. You know, 10 was the most that they got. But by the time they got 10, they started getting bigger chores. But even, you know, we had a garden out. It was just in our yard, though. So some of the chores would be like you had to go pick one 5-gallon bucket of tomatoes. You know, it wasn't ever like a big chore. And even like cleaning the kitchen, it was like, okay, you had to clean the island or unload the dishwasher or, you know, clean the bar or sweep the floor. It was never like go in there and clean the whole kitchen. You know, you can't overwhelm them at a young age. You know, it has to be age appropriate, or feed the dog, you know, just chores like that. Some advice I'd like to give you though, for the young mamas with the young kids, like when they make their bed. Of course, a 3-year-old is not going to make their bed like you are. And you just have to remember that it's not about you. It's about your child, and you're teaching your child how to be responsible and how to do chores. And so they're not going to be as good as you at doing it, but that's okay. And if your OCD just takes over and you can't stand it, you know, just every time you walk by that bed that day, you know, like you might want to just tug out a little wrinkle here and there, you know, but don't make a big to-do out of it and tell them that they're wrong and they didn't do it right, you know, because all that'll come. And by the time they're 12 years old, they'll be able to make a bed better than you are, you know.
And clean the whole house.
And clean the whole house as much as they've doing it. So just be patient with that. And they're not going to do it as good as you, but it's always it's still helpful to you, you know. And you can just go up and kind of clean up behind them, but just don't let them see you doing it. That builds their confidence if they think they've done a good job.
I think that's about it.
Okay.
His mama's a little long-winded, y'all.
I'm sorry. I guess you get carried away. But anyways, y'all, if you have any more questions, just leave it in the comments.
And we'll
Thank
answer
y'all.
it next week.
That's right. Thank y'all. Bye-bye.